more meaningful kind of impact. It's my absolute honor to introduce Ms. Rakhee Chhabria, the founder of Teachers Help Teachers, a visionary educator who has built a powerful community where educators come together to learn, share, and grow. Through her initiative, she has created a space that uplifts educators, encourages collaboration, and continuously strengthens the teaching fraternity. Rakhee ma'am, we are truly, truly honored to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Jalpa. And let me take a moment to invite our next guest. Neelam ma'am, I'm deeply honored to introduce you, Ms. Neelam Manchanda. With over 23 years of experience in early childhood education, a master's in psychology, and recognition as the best principal in Thane, she has dedicated her journey to nurturing young minds with deep care and purpose. Her impact extends beyond the classroom to multiple parenting sessions, while also leading her institution to be recognized among the top preschools. Neelam ma'am, we are truly delighted to have you here with us.
Thank you, Delreen. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
So much, ma'am.
Teachers Help Teachers. What a wonderful platform. It's an honor to be here today.
Welcome, ma'am. Thank you, Delreen. And I think what makes today truly special is that both our guests represent impact in its truest form. One, by building a community that empowers educators, and the other by nurturing young minds with the deep care and commitment. We are really looking forward to learning from both of you today, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Rakhee ma'am, I would like to begin with you. Every meaningful initiative begins with a moment, a thought, or an experience that makes you think differently. So, what was that defining thought or experience that led you to create Teachers Help Teachers?
Well, thank you, Jalpa, for that lovely introduction that you gave. I am feeling truly special today because I feel that I'm back home. It's something that, I envisioned back in 2015 when I started with Teachers Help Teachers as a Facebook group, where the whole idea was to connect on a common point and on a common platform. So we all know that, we are all aware of the problems in education. There's nothing new. I think what was spoken 10 years ago is still being spoken today as well. So if you were to ask me what was I thinking, to be frank enough, I wasn't thinking anything except for the pain point that I had experienced. And with that pain point is what I thought that I could seek support and I could provide support as a community would be built. And I think what I started doing was, I just started walking on the path that I felt would be apt for me. I'm sure that if someone else comes up with this kind of idea today, they will definitely be 10 steps ahead and do it in a very, very innovative way. But back then, I think, what I knew and with the kind of knowledge that I had, I just started walking on the path, and I just thought that, yeah, this is something that resonates with me. And I found it something very close to my heart because I've been an educator, and having faced the challenges in education, I felt that what if all teachers come together and support one another? And I would always feel as a teacher when somebody would come into my class and, probably give me lectures on how to teach, I would really feel edgy because I would feel that, okay, pehle idhar aake sikhao aur fir bolo. So that's the kind of, pain that we all teachers carry, that, people come, they suggest and they go away. But what matters is when I speak to another teacher and when that teacher tells me to do something, I feel that, yes, it's doable, because if that teacher sitting in that one corner has done it, then even I can do it, or anybody else can do it. So that was the whole idea of gathering all educators across India, across the globe today, and coming up to help one another solve challenges, because challenges are always going to be there. So it's all about mindset, that how we look at it and how we start solving it. Yeah. So if you were to ask me what I was thinking of, I think I was not thinking of anything except my pain point. I think there was a selfish purpose in that.
But that selfish purpose was really meaningful for us. And that was truly insightful. It beautifully reflects the intention that you had behind THT. Now, what stands out is how one thought that you had, when acted upon, can create such a wide ripple of impact across educators. And it's interesting how this idea of impact begins right from the earliest years of learning as well. Also, I think that this connects so well to the foundation stage of education. So, yeah, I feel this is really, really important step that you have taken. If not you, then who?
Absolutely. This connection is so important. And I guess all of us have benefited so much from that, ma'am, right? From early years to these years, you know. So, and I think this connection, beyond this connection, the seeds of impact are truly sown in the early years, you know, where foundational skills, emotional intelligence, and beyond that, I feel, you know, love for learning also develops. And taking that thought forward, Neelam ma'am, I would like to ask you my first humble question. What
Sure.
does impact in early education mean to you? And when did you realize that your role goes beyond teaching and shaping lives?
Okay. Thank you, Delreen. Rakhi ma'am, it's wonderful to know about your journey and the way you started. So, whatever the motive would have been at that time when you started, I'm glad to know that it's become a huge platform now where the teachers are helping each other, learning from each and every opportunity that they're getting on this platform. I should congratulate you for that. Wonderful. Thank you. Yes, as teachers,
Thank you so much. And I think you should just call me Rakhi. That's
all the very best to you for your wonderful venture. Go ahead, roar. So, coming to the question, Delreen, thank you so much for this wonderful question. Teachers itself, each and every teacher in this world, I think, is trying to do her best to create an impact on every life that they're touching. Yeah, could be a child of any age, from 2 years till whichever age they're teaching. Every teacher is putting her best foot front to make an impact on a child's life. And I congratulate the whole fraternity of teachers for doing such wonderful job, because one thing that I know is once a teacher is always a teacher. Your soul becomes a teacher forever. Yeah. Impact for me, Delreen, is how I am making a child feel when I'm having a conversation with that child. Am I helping the child raise his self-esteem? The impact for me is every interaction that I am making with the child, whether it is giving any benefit to the child, it's adding any value to the time that we are spending together. Impact for me is touching the lives of the family of my students, connecting with parents, connecting with their families, connecting with the grandparents. Impact for me is a responsibility of my words, my actions, and my vision. I have to be very responsible for every word that I'm talking, for every action that I'm taking, for every vision that I am looking forward to achieve. Impact for me is the child around me is feeling safe, accepted, included, and is ready to learn. And impact is redundant if these practices are not applied on daily basis. Which practices are we talking here? We're talking about practices like making meaningful interaction with babies, listening to them, thinking of ways of making teaching an out of the box activity, teaching them how to apply what they have learned. These are the practices that are going to make deeper impact. Over the years, while we got ourselves involved in many practices which we thought that should be done so that our radar becomes larger and we are able to reach many of them. We started with some activities, to name some of them, something called as Dan Utsav. The school started an event called Dan Utsav, wherein children would bring hygiene kits or grains from home, and those would reach to mobile creches where they were needed. The school started an activity called Joy of Giving, where children learned to be empathetic, to be compassionate. They started sharing their Christmas goodie bags, with children of other mobile creches and other NGOs, where not only an activity or a day is celebrated, a very great value is taken going back home. We started activities like Daffo Bazaar, where teachers will make n number of items and we sell them. The proceeds go to some NGO. We started activities like including children from mobile creches and Signal Shala in our annual days and sports days. We started a practice like where 10 to 12 children in every academic year are given education, some of them absolutely free of cost, and some of them at a very minimum fees. This is for the economically challenged class of the society.
Lovely.
As educators, it's our responsibility that the impact is given in a uniform way to everyone who deserves it. So that is my humble effort to create an impact.
Thank you, Miss Neelam. That was such a thoughtful one. And as usual, you always hit the heart. And yes, I can vouch that being a Daffodils parent, I have always seen that Miss Neelam will not just ensure that, a child is shaped academically, but Miss Neelam and her team will ensure that, every student from Daffodils steps out as grows into a good human being first. And I think that is the best impact for any educator. So,
Thank you.
like I said, it's not always that is visible to the mind, but something that is felt to the heart. And I guess that's really lovely.
Thank you.
Over to you, Ms. Jalpa.
You're on mute, Jalpa.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, Delreen and Neelam ma'am. That perspective really highlights how deeply impact is rooted in early years. And when we look at education as a whole, it's fascinating to see how these foundations eventually connect to how teachers evolve, grow, and influence learning at every level. So, Rakhee ma'am, what stands out about THT is how it brings teachers together, not just to share, but to grow collectively. So, my next question to you is, what is one transformation that you have witnessed in teachers through THT that really reflects the impact that has been created?
Yep, a very valid question. And I've been asked this question over and over. What is the transformation that I see? In terms of transformation, I would say that the very first thing that I have seen is that we've kind of created a community where majority of us feel belonged to, where majority of us feel that, there is this one group where we can reach out to and we can pose our questions and we can highlight our concerns, we can have a dialogue, and it's like someone to fall back upon. So that's the kind of community support that it has grown into. In terms of personal transformation, I would say that a lot of educators that have benefited from our platform, especially during the pandemic days, where we realized that there was lots that had to be done, and teachers were thrown into something which was completely unknown. All of us were thrown into something that was completely unknown, and on top of that, we had CCTV cameras, the so-called parents who were also watching us and having fun. But I think it was the resilience that truly showed among the teaching community. And we were, I think, one of the first early movers to actually start taking sessions and helping teachers with respect to how do we maneuver tech in order to, move ahead with our students and not kind of create a gap in the learning. And all of this was done absolutely free of cost back then. And I think that was the impact that we created because of the community. Because I always believe that it's not possible to, it's possible to have an idea, and it's possible to have a radical idea individually, but it's not possible to implement that idea and create an impact individually, no matter how powerful you are, because you need wings and you need that parachute, and the community becomes your parachute. It becomes that support system for yourself as well, so that you can dream big for them. So in terms of transformation, I would also like to pinpoint that many educators have also benefited financially from the platform, because we ourselves invite educators. And from day one, we were very clear that we are not going to use teachers. We are not going to, invite them and ask them to share their knowledge just because we want to make money. So that was very, very clear right from the beginning, where uh, even if it's a 1 hour session that you're conducting for us, whatever revenue, whatever proceeds come our way, we were more than happy to share the revenue with our trainers. And I think that was since 2019, from the very first day when I established my company. That's from the very first day I'd set this rule that we're going to respect teachers, we're going to respect their knowledge, because the kind of hard work that goes into coming on a platform to share knowledge is something which is hidden. Nobody sees that. Today, when schools call trainers, uh, they expect the trainers to be available at a very low cost. And then they argue and they question the trainer's capability, ability, uh, and compare the trainer with other trainers that are available, with other freelancers that are available. And I really feel sad about this, because as I said, that all the work that goes behind the scene is hidden and nobody knows that. So it's really unfair for anybody, for that matter, to you know uh, call upon that trainer as snobbish or expensive, or giving terms, because I feel that each one has their own journey, and each one's journey is different from the others. So in terms of transformation, I was also very clear that teachers should be financially rewarded and they should become independent. And it's not that they are making a fortune out of this, but yes, it's something that's definitely adding to their kitty. So what they do with it, whether they have ice cream or whether they donate it, I don't know, but it definitely adds to their kitty. And I also felt that if we create this kind of system where we empower educators, which we do, and then we fall back upon them for their support to empower others. So it's like a complete chain that we are creating. And what better platform than this to actually learn, empower yourself, and come back and test your skill? Because as per the Feynman technique, if you can't teach in a way that someone can understand, which means you yourself haven't understood it. So we actually provide that platform and that chance to other educators to come and share their knowledge. Of course, there are certain protocols that we follow, because we just don't want anyone to come. So there are certain protocols, and then we encourage other trainers, if in case those protocols are not met, we encourage them to do certain things so that the protocols can be met and they can come back. But yes, so it was very, very clear from day one that teachers need to be respected, their time need to be respected, they need to be financially rewarded. And in terms of personal transformation, also, we've seen, so many teachers who were not actually known to one another, through our events and meetups, have actually started meeting up, and they made a small family of 4 to 5 friends themselves. So it's nice to see that beyond profession also they have moved ahead and they have maintained contacts. And even if it is you're distant, it doesn't matter today. So it's amazing to see how teachers come together and then maintain those contacts. So it's been amazing to see the kind of transformation and the kind of stories. Like, I also coach educators to write their own book. So when educators and school leaders come to me to write their own book, the kind of joy that they experience after they have written the book. I think Jalpa and Delvin, both of y'all have written y'all are authors, y'all have written a
Yes,
book.
ma'am.
So y'all are real life examples of transformation. So I think, yes, whatever has been done or has been catered through the platform has always been from the vision of empowerment. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was so meaningful. I can totally second that, Rakhee ma'am, because I think I'm a living example for what THT actually does. Because since the time I joined your first workshop, which was resume building and LinkedIn profile, I have been just joining and learning and learning. And apart from learning, meeting and greeting other teachers, knowing them, knowing more and more stories about how differently every teacher works in their own respective classrooms and doing better for each child. Apart from that, what one more thing as an educator that I have received by joining THT is a lot of different learnings and different prospects. It's not only being a math educator, I get to learn only about math. It's about AI, it's about writing a book, it's about many other things, right? So I definitely second that, whatever you say, and I am a living example for that. So I am truly grateful for you. Because of you, I could write my book, and there are many such authors that could do, many educators who turned into authors because of you. So yes, THT is not only just a platform where educators meet and greet and just exchange ideas. They also grow and pass on, because I still remember we also got an opportunity to teach other educators in JVCN conference, where 200 educators had come, and there were so many different coaches who had come to spread plethora of knowledge, in different fields. So yeah, that is so meaningful, because when teachers grow, the impact multiplies across classrooms, across
Totally.
students,
So
and
true.
across generations, right?
Absolutely.
So it really shows that how empowering educators uh, is one of the most important ways to transform learning. And that journey of growth truly begins in the early years as well, right, Elri?
You're on mute.
Absolutely. And I can relate as well. I'd like to just share a brief moment, won't take much time. Is when I had joined THT, and I remember Rakhee ma'am had asked you that I'm not teaching at the moment. Can I still attend these workshops? Because, I'm a lifelong learner. I don't want to reach that stagnation. And I remember you said, Delreen, once a teacher, always a teacher. And I saw that striking similarity. Neelam ma'am as well said the same. Another striking similarity, what I saw between these two wonderful educators here is both of them have love and pride for their teachers. And I think, and they ensure respect for teachers. So I think that is something that is really commendable. So let us proceed with that. On that note, Neela ma'am, the next question is for you. You have guided so many parents. How do you see your influence extending beyond children to parents and families?
Thank you, Delrin. Before I start and answer my question, Rakhi, community becomes your parachute. That's my takeaway for the day.
Yes.
Fantastic. Wow. And creating such a community, it requires a lot of selfless service, which I think you're doing. Wonderful. It was so good to hear that sentence.
Thank
That's
you
my
so much.
takeaway for the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great. Yeah. So, influence. Yeah. There's only so much you can do. What I do, I become a guiding light. I try to become an inspiration. I try to have a helping hand towards everyone. I try to be a guiding light, an inspiration, an open door for them to come and connect whenever they need to. How do we do all this? We have parenting sessions throughout the year. 6 to 7 parenting sessions are held, absolutely no cost. Parents come and we discuss the new ways of parenting. This is a new age parenting. We come up and discuss how can we make parenting a beautiful journey. How can everyone help each other in this journey called parenting? We have sessions called Chai Pe Charcha, where parents and the management, they come together. We discuss how can we make formative years. Now, why formative years? I'll be talking about formative years again and again because we deal with formative years of children. It's a preschool, so we deal with formative years, which is why I'll be talking about that more. How can we make formative years more engaging, meaningfully engaging, and do wonderful things to build confidence of children, to make them strong decision makers. How can we all together come and do all this for children? So Chai Pe Charcha is all about that. The next way that I try to make an influence is having Grandparents' Day, celebrating Grandparents' Day, where we connect with the family and show them how important they are, their journey. We celebrate their life, we celebrate their journey. That is what I think children learn from us, to respect their elders, to respect their grandparents. We do something also called as parental involvement, where parents are involved throughout the year in various activities like assemblies, festivals, grand events, projects, project day called Jaroka. They come, and Daffodils is a blessed institution where parents come and they open heartedly involve themselves, because I think when you take admission at Daffodils for your child, you just don't take a seat here. You become a parenting partner with us. We become your partners for parenting. We help you with everything that is possible for us to do. For that, parenting and parent involvement, the management, the parents, the family, the child, all together, we become a family and we do things together. And the last least that I can do for anyone around me is to be a good listener. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to be, someone to listen to them and not judge them. I try to become that for everyone around me, be it my teachers, be it my parents, be it my colleagues, be it anyone who needs to talk, who needs to be understood, who just needs to be feeling warm by someone listening and not educating all the time. Just listen to me. And I do that. This is my humble way of making some influence on parents, their families, and my babies. And God willing, I shall continue to do that till my last breath.
Wow, that is such a heartfelt moment. And I would just like to put it in one word that Neela ma'am, I am nostalgic. Uh,
Thank
and
you.
absolutely, very well said that it does remind us that education is truly a shared journey. It's not just that we leave it all on the educators to shape our child. It's a collaboration with parents, teachers, and obviously grandparents who, we owe everything and respect above everything. So very well said.
I'm just
Yeah.
curious to know that, how do you manage to do that? Because listening is one such skill which seems to be diminishing by the hour. So how do you manage to do that?
Rakhi, to be very honest, I remember as a child, we are 5 siblings. And that time, I think there were not so many engaging activities for children, no? Where so siblings were friends always. The family patterns were such. My mother would sit. It was a huge joint family. We would all sit together, and everyone would talk at the end of the day. Everyone, a large family of 10 members, everyone would talk. The only one person who would not talk and only listen was my mother, with a huge big smile on her face. As babies, I think I never understood all this. But as I grew, I realized the importance of doing that. The importance of doing that. The more we hear, the more calm the hearts get. The most tough hearts will melt when only they are heard. That's here what I'm doing. And I love to do that.
Wow, that is truly touching. That the more we hear, the more hearts heal. So that's wonderful. That's my takeaway. Yeah, as a parent, as an educator, because I feel that, today it's so difficult to actually even get through someone. Forget if you have a point to prove, forget that. even to get through someone today, it's so difficult. Everybody's so distracted, and everyone has their own agenda, and nobody wants to actually listen today. Everybody feels that, yes, what I'm doing is absolutely fine, correct. So in the scenario that we are in, it becomes tough to manage a team or manage people around you. So I think when you drop all these guards and just listen, I think be able to solve a lot of problems. So that's a takeaway. Thank you. So over to you, Jalpa.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, my takeaway is also the same thing, ma'am. The more we listen is something that, the calmer our hearts is. So I actually got goosebumps when I heard that line from you. So I'm definitely going to remember that. And I think this brings us to a very important point also, that today there is no shortage of effort in the classrooms. But somewhere we need to pause and ask, are we creating depth or are we just moving ahead? Rakhi ma'am, if we pause and observe classrooms today, there is an effort everywhere, but somewhere the depth of learning still needs attention. So I would like to ask you, what is that one change you believe is essential in today's classrooms to truly prove student learning outcomes, to improve them?
I think what's missing today in education is pause, yeah, and reflection on part of not only teachers. I mean, why blame just one segment of the education? I think all of us, for that matter, are, I don't know, where are we running? We are running, but we don't know where are we running. So it's like a never-ending race where we forget to pause. And in that race, we are pushing our kids also to run. And then, without pausing, I don't know, it seems like really funny. I get this vivid picture of Tom and Jerry when I think of classrooms today, and where the teachers are chasing and the students are running. And that's happening because, education no longer is as relevant. I don't know if you would ask me. Yeah, I don't think I enjoyed sitting in the classroom. I always enjoyed being outdoors, or probably learning while on the go, incidental learning, or by learning by observation. And very few uh, you know school memories that I have was of my English teacher. And that also I have is because she taught me the way I would learn, number one, and also because she remembered my name. So that's the reason why I remember her, because she always had this bright smile. She would call me by my name always without fail. We had like 4 divisions, 60 students each division, and still she remembered my name, and that made me feel so special because I was not um, uh, I was an average student. I was not a very good student academically, and I always felt that why any teacher would remember me, because it doesn't really matter to them whether I learn or I don't learn. But that teacher, irrespective of whether you're learning or not learning, she made me feel special. So that's where I remember her, and I have vivid memories of her. Coming back to what's missing, I would not say missing, but I would just say that we have everything today, Jalpa, as you said. Everything is available at our disposal with the swipe of our thumb. And yet, I think what we are missing in our education today is, I would say, values. I would say relevance, and I would also say reflection. So these are some of the things which I have observed. Of course, these are my personal perspectives. Each individual has their own perspective, but as much as work that I'm doing, and as much as uh, not only with the teachers, with schools also, we start off with a very good vision, but somewhere eventually the vision dwindles off, and the flame also dwindles off, and that's where we see that things are just moving along the way without any reflection, without any pause, without any concern. Everybody's just doing what they want to do, and that's, I think, a pretty sad state of education. So I think if we can change something, it would be to pause and to reflect and to do whatever it takes in our in our own way to do whatever it takes. Yeah. Without thinking that, how is it going to matter? I think that, for me, that example of that teacher remembering my name is something that I always carry forward with myself, because it has taught me to actually, be mindful about addressing others with their names. So no matter who they are, I'm always very mindful about addressing them with their names. Or if I don't know their names, then obviously finding it out and then addressing them. Even if when I go to a restaurant, I always address someone by their name.
Yeah.
So something that I always do because of that teacher. So that's the kind of incidental learning, that's the kind of value, because I think your name is the sweetest word in the world. Yeah.
True. I totally resonate this, and it, makes me recall one incident where I met a student who was like, it's been like, I know him since 2012, and when we just met, the first thing he asked is, "Huh, do you remember my name?" So I completely agree to what you said right now. And another thing, that teachers are definitely putting lots and lots of efforts to do something new every day with this constantly changing dynamic world that we are in. But at the same time, a lack of reflection sometimes, because in that rush of running with the syllabus is something that misses out on the very important thing, that is value based education, connecting it with real life, which really creates a huge impact on what the kids are learning with. Yeah, so that is something that every educator here can truly reflect on, because sometimes it's not about doing more, but it's doing things more meaningfully, and this reflection becomes equally important for parents and early educators too.
Yeah, I think what's missing are the dialogues, with the parents. I think what Miss Neelam is doing is wonderful, that she's having dialogues with the parents. She's making the parents aware, because majority of the time the kids are with the parents. So if the parents become aware and they are aware of the challenges faced by teachers in the classroom, because today it's not just about having, our classrooms are becoming smaller. We are being, we are actually, we feel proud to say that, okay, we offer customized learning. But actually, when we think of customized learning, it's very, very difficult for the teacher to cater to those 15 different individuals in the classroom, because each one comes with a different set of challenges, and each one is coming with a different background altogether. And then getting them together on a common platform to put across your point of view, to actually explore something with them, can be very, very challenging. And that is something that, as school owners, there should be opportunities for more dialogues. Allow parents to come and step into the classroom and see what can happen if you were to be there in the place of the teacher. So empathy is something which is, I feel, is also missing. So I think dialogues are very, very important, and that's the kind of touch that is missing today, I feel. Yeah. But I'm glad that Miss Neelam is already focusing on that, and she's emphasizing on that. So I think we have, if we have school leaders who are as empathetic and as aware as Miss Neelam, then we know that our kids are in safe hand. Yeah.
Thank you, Rakhee.
Absolutely, ma'am. Over to you, Delreen.
Yes, Rakhee ma'am, very well said. And empathy is my favorite word. And I really like this, dialogue part that you mentioned. And it's a very meaningful change after all, which I feel requires that alignment across all stages of learning. And perhaps one of the most essential shift in today's classroom is creating that alignment. So, Neelam ma'am, if I have to ask you this, that what needs to change in the education system in order to create a deeper impact? And what is that one step you think parents and educators can take jointly and, achieve this objective?
Yeah, there has been a beautiful start to this topic, and as Rakhee rightly said, reflection is something everyone, not only parents, not only teachers, the schools, management, everyone who is around that child needs to reflect. Everything, even if it is a small conversation you have had with a child, you need to reflect upon that also. Leave alone the larger thing that you're doing with the child. For me, what I feel in this education system and wherever it is going, schools need to immediately stop judging a child on his or her academic reach. It's very important to do that today. Every child may not be good at subjects, at scoring marks. There might be so many other potentials in the child, which are just gone unseen sometimes. A child may be a wonderful orator. A child may be an amazing artist, a content creator. But we are only judging children on marks, on how much knowledge they have about that subject. That's not the end of the child's potential. It may be just a beginning. There is so much hidden inside that brain. What we need to realize is the child's potential. And how can we do that? Very simple. We need to give the child more and more opportunities. Lots and lots of experiences we need to give children. We need to give them exposure. We need to put them into situations and understand their potential there. I know it is difficult, but then that is what schools are there for. That is what educators are made for. Try. I'm very sure, and parents will also help. Involve them and go ahead with this beautiful motive in your mind. Schools need to work on the value system of the child, which is going to go a very far way with the child. Schools need to work on the life skills. Nobody talks about life skills in bigger schools. Nobody talks about those. How important are those? Imagine an 8-year-old child, 9-year-old child doesn't know how to tie the shoelace, doesn't know how to organize his desk, does not know how to file papers. Very important. We need to work on their life skills. Children don't know how to wash vessels. They don't know how to wash a plate. These are life skills. We need to work on these. We need to give them more opportunities so that they learn in those opportunities. Change is definitely going to come if we start these practices tomorrow. No, today. Today. Give them more options. One standard line I tell my teachers also every day: do not work on the child, work with the child. Involve the child in everything you're doing. You're telling the child about keep your class clean, keep your class clean, keep your class clean. Give them a duster in the hand. Tell them, come on, let's clean the classroom. Automatically, a life skill is set in. That is what the education system needs to change. And I think it is not so difficult, because the most difficult thing it must have been when humans were evolving, were to have fire to cook their food. If that was taken care today, with so much technology in place and so many opportunities, you think it's difficult? It's not. It's just about making that one hard decision. We are going to do it, and we all need to come together. Parents should not object. Why is my child cleaning the class? My child comes here, I pay so much fees, my child has come to learn. But they're not understanding that these are very important steps. So come together, parents and schools, come together and work on this future generation of this country.
Amazing. One word, amazing. And I must say, I have to share this very funny moment. My son Thian has been a Daffodils ex-student, and he knows that his mother is also a teacher. So at home, I ensure he is independent. So he has to put his shoes in place, his clothes, everything in place. Once you change your clothes, you can't have your own clothes, I mean, the one that you wore earlier, thrown on the bed. You have to put it on the hanger, or you have to put it on the clothes rack with a clip. He does that. And the other day, Neelam ma'am, Rakhee ma'am, I'm not just saying this to boast about myself, but I was literally finding my cup of tea the other day, which I just kept on the table because I had to rush for an emergency to the washroom. And when I come out and I see Thian, he is literally washing that cup in the wash basin. And I am not exaggerating this, but he has mentioned this to me that he has learned this at Daffodils. And I have a teacher there also, and I have a teacher here also. So one teacher here and one teacher at home also. So that playful way he said, but yes, we do ensure that, yeah, they are not spoon fed, and they do shape into well all-round personality development of a child, yeah, and not just bookish knowledge. Yeah, well said.
Absolutely, Delreen. What stands out through this entire conversation is that the impact is not built in one moment. It is built through consistent thought, intention, and the actions. And sometimes all it takes is one message to guide educators forward. So, Rakhi ma'am, with this, as we come towards the end of the conversation, I have one last question for you. What is one message you would like every teacher here to carry with them after this conversation, after attending this session?
Uh, well, it's very simple. I think first we are learners and then we are teachers. So as long as we have the curiosity in us, and as long as we have the quest for learning and figuring out solutions to problems, I think our learners are definitely going to model that. And we are definitely going to be the role model. We are definitely role models, not definitely going to be, but yeah, we are role models. And if we are doing this, it's more than enough for the learners to actually imitate and go further, more than what the teacher can do. And I think that's the best reward for a teacher, where your learner has gone way beyond you and contributed way beyond you. So if you can role model only this much for the learner in your classroom and leave the rest, I think today's generation, I think, if, whatever we may say, I feel that they're very clear about their needs in terms of what they want, what they don't want, in terms of what they want to do as well. Because I see my own son as well. He's so clear about what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. Where sometimes I feel that, we often get caught as educators, as parents, in trying to change them, in trying to actually, because of our anxiousness and because of our worries, we make efforts to start changing them. It's as if, they are some toys and we need to fix them and we need to screw them, but of course, with a lot of reflection, you actually understand that they are not meant to be fixed. It's you who's meant to be fixed. They are just mirrors that, for you. And, the challenges that you see is something for you to fix in yourself rather than project it on your learners or your students. So I feel that, the more you are able to do that and the more you are able to inculcate that quest and that curiosity, and obviously role model that to your learners, to your own kids, I think it's all pretty good. They are good to take off from there. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that is a great message that connects beautifully with every educator's journey, because it's not about telling, it's about showing and being one, right? So, that one thought, when truly understand, can transform the way we teach and the way we create impact in the lives of all our students. Yes, over to you, Delphine.
I completely agree with you, Raki ma'am, when you said that, we have to let our children be themselves and not try to mold them into, perceptions that we have. And I think I'm really proud to say this, that I feel educators understand this better. And I usually say that, it's so difficult to explain this to someone who is from a non-education field, that just let the child be, matlab wo apne time pe shine karega at his own pace. If he may not follow a conventional occupation or whatever we want, ye bano wo bano, par wo apna kar lega. Every child is unique and talented.
That's the
And
most
this, I think,
that's the
yeah,
most
it's so difficult to explain this to someone who is from non-education field, that empathy, I feel, is very rare that you get to see. So yeah, that's a wonderful thought, Raki ma'am. And um, I would like to now ask Neelam ma'am, what is that one, ma'am, if you had to leave everyone here with that one thought, one message about creating an impact in a child's life, what would it be from Neelam ma'am?
Thank you, Delreen. I just wished and I was keeping my fingers crossed that you ask something like this to me. Thank you for making my evening so wonderful.
I couldn't resist either.
So, um, as adults, go back to your memory lane. Think about that one adult when you were a child. You loved that one adult around you. who would understand you the way you are. Be that adult in your child's life. Be that one adult in your student's life. Everything will fall in place suddenly. Yeah. There are some shifts I feel. If we make those shifts happen, so much is going to change. To name some of them, this is just my opinion. Please forgive me if anybody doesn't agree with any point here, but I feel that these shifts are going to work like magic. Hear me out. Some of them are shifts. Let us shift from correction to connection, which itself is going to begin the magic. Let's shift from reacting to responding. It's going to make a huge difference in that little life. Let's shift from rushing to slowing down. Now, when I say slowing down, I do not mean slowing down the pace of anything else, but coming to the child's space. Come to the child's space. Let's shift from saying no to let's do it together. Let's shift from screen time to spending time together. Let's shift from gaming zones to gardens. Let's shift from gadgets to books, reading books, which is going to make their life and journey so beautiful. I read somewhere, a child who reads will never be alone. Let's shift from pointing to taking ownership. Let's shift from expressing anger to showing care. Let's shift from saying to listening. Let's shift from junk to home cooked. Let's shift from parties to picnics. Let's shift from Videsi to Desi. I am very sure Delreen, Rakhee, Jalpa, and all those who are listening to us, the shifts may not be easy, but if worked over, they're going to become magic in your child's life. Try it. You'll thank me later.
I think we should create one poster and we should actually, with AI tool, and we should actually circulate it in our community. I think this was icing on cake, what you just said. I was writing it down and it is so true. Each and every sentence that you gave us, each and every advice that you have given us is so true. It'll take time, of course. It needs consistency, time, slowing down, also being available, which I feel is the most difficult aspect considering the nuclear family setup that we are having today. So being available for one another, I think that itself has become an achievement. So forget, doing all of these things, being there for one another when your child is upset, or for that matter, your child has had a tough day. So I think these are some of the instances where I feel that, yeah, we really need to reflect and at least start by following maybe one or two, if not all. Yeah.
Right. And as you rightly said, Rakhee, consistency is the key.
Yeah.
Whichever parenting style you adopt to bring up your children, just need to be consistent. Just need to be consistent. We cannot change our path every day. We're not going to reach anywhere.
So true. You're on mute, Delreen. Delreen, we can't hear you. No, you're not audible.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Audible? Yeah. Jalpa ma'am, I think I should be saying now goosebumps. So, two phenomenal educators, one powerful voice. Both of you have literally touched our hearts today. Okay. On that note, as we come to a lovely end of this very first Impact Circle, I think it's true to say that this has been more than just a conversation. It has been a deeply enriching space of reflection, learning, growth, and most importantly, a reminder of the deeper purpose that connects all of us as educators.
I truly resonate with what you shared, Delreen. Today was not just about listening to journeys, it was about understanding what real impact looks like. Through our guests, we have seen that impact is not defined by visibility, but by difference we create. It is the confidence we build and in the quiet shifts that stay with our students. As it is rightly quoted, true impact is not how many remember your name, but in how many carry your influence within them. That is the essence of education, and that is what the Impact Circle stands for. Thank you to our wonderful guests, one of them being our own founder. Thank you, Delreen, for co hosting so gracefully, and thank you to each one of you here for being here. Thank you so much.
I think I would like to thank Ms. Neelam. Thank you so much for being a part of our first Impact Circle. And thank you to the beautiful ladies, Delreen and Jalpa, for co-hosting this Impact Circle. And this initiative that we have started is to allow the community to listen I say, to listen to more and more change makers and more educators who are silently making a difference, I would say. So the whole essence or the objective of Impact Circle is to identify all those who are silently creating an impact, and where they can, and if we can actually be honored with their presence, I think what more do we need for the community? So that's something that we are looking out for. So if you feel that you would like to be a part of the Impact Circle, you can write to us, you can connect with us on our WhatsApp, and you can let us know what is it that you're working upon, and we would be happy to have you with us. So yes, thank you so much to
Thank
all.
you,
Thank you,
Rakhee.
ma'am.
Thank you, teachers help teachers. Thank
Thank
you, Delveen. Thank you, Jalpa.
Please
Thank
give me a moment to just
Sure.
express my deepest gratitude to our esteemed guests, Ms. Rakhee Chhabria and Ms. Neelam Manchanda. Like I said, two phenomenal educators, one powerful voice in one Impact Circle. We really thank you wholeheartedly for your valuable time, presence, and contribution. I truly acknowledge the depth of knowledge and words of wisdom we shared collectively here today. We look forward to continue this journey in the next chapter of the Impact Circle. Until then, keep inspiring, keep impacting, keep growing. Thank you very much. And I'd like to sign it off the Daffodils way. Neela ma'am, would you like to do it? Namaste.
Oh, namaste to everyone.
That's
Have a
what.
wonderful evening
Namaste
ahead.
to
Rakhee
everyone.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and truly amazed with the kind of takeaways that I have had. So thank you, Ms. Neelam. Yeah.
Same here, Rakhee. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've ended the